Welcome back, my fellow patriots. We are now on the 26th Amendment, which is the penultimate amendment of the United States Constitution. It was ratified in 1971. It's very simple. It provides that anyone that is 18 years of age or older cannot be denied the right to vote if they're a citizen of the United States by the federal or state governments. So basically, the idea was that for a long time, the voting age was 21 years of age for most people across the country. And then over time, there were demands to lower that voting age to the age of 18, in essence, because people were dying in wars, but didn't have the right to vote. This is an interesting development in American constitutional law and history because if you go back to the American Revolution and successive wars thereafter, there were always people that were younger than the age of voting age that participated in wars. Some were teenagers in the American Revolution, the Civil War, and other places, and often because of land restrictions, the fact that you needed to have property for most people to be able to vote, people that fought in those wars often, especially the American Revolution and then the War of 1812, and then that kind of disappeared, those land restrictions. But people would fought in wars that weren't entitled to vote, both because of age or land qualifications. But over time, this became a major issue, and there was legislation introduced in World War I and thereafter, and eventually with the unpopularity of the Vietnam War, the massive protest and other circumstances surrounding that war in particular, the argument that we could draft people in a very unpopular war to go overseas and die who could not even participate in the franchise just seemed to be an affront to our founding first principles. And so the 26th Amendment was ratified. And that makes sense. If you think about it, the social compact that we've talked about in the past, you had people that were, 18, 19, 20, that really should be full participating members of the social compact. They were expected to work. They were expected to be married. They were expected to, or at least engage in society, have either higher education or a career. They were paying taxes, and yet they were denied the right to vote. The ideas of unalienable rights, limited government, the rule of law, all those things should be applied to those who are 18 or over, but yet they were denied those rights. And so much like the suffragette movement and the civil rights movement and the emancipation and enfranchisement of African Americans movement, this, for lack of a better term, youth movement or 18 to 20-year-old movement took hold. It is so interesting, though, if you think about it, we are treating some people that are beyond the age of 18 as still, we treat them in a paternalistic way. For example, drinking and some other kinds of social activities, but drinking is the one that really jumps out to mind. Can't drink if you're not 21, yet you can still enlist in the Army and die in an overseas war. We've also had a movement in our criminal justice system, which has been trying to take into account the fact that brain development, recent research has shown, really doesn't happen fully until people are in their young 20s. So we still enfranchise people at the age of 18 to vote, but there's kind of a movement to take away responsibility for young people for their actions as juveniles and even a little bit older. In my jurisdiction in Michigan, we have expanded the eligibility for people to have the ability to avoid a criminal conviction in some very serious felonies because of their tender years, and we're talking about up to the age of 25, but they can vote at 18. So it's a very interesting dynamic. Not saying what's right, what's wrong, just trying to point out those issues. Until next time, don't forget about America's Survival Guide at americasurvivalguide.com, Patriot Week at patriotweek.org, and the Patriot Lessons American History and Civics podcast. We are almost done with the Constitution, which means that we've just barely scratched the surface, but at least we're making some progress. Until tomorrow, God bless you, and God bless America.